The Boys TV show is way better than the fucking comic book. But that is not to say that the comic book just fucking sucks. I think the comic is pretty good. I just believe the comic to be, well, dated. The Boys comic book came out October 2006. And 2006 was a very edgy fucking year for comic books. Now you might be thinking, Brandon man, shut the fuck up, man. That's the whole purpose of The Boys, to be edgy, to show this darker, grittier side and quote unquote more realistic side of what the superhero comic book universe would look like if we had actual real life people in it, man. And to that, the first thing I'll say is shut the fuck up. The second thing is you're right. Part of the charm of The Boys is that it took a new spin that wasn't really done in 2006. It showed a lot more edgier, more gruesome, way more fucked up shit than any other comic book was really showing at the time. And you had the big conglomerates of Marvel and DC, so independent comic books weren't really selling all that well compared to these two giants. The only way to stand out is if you were A, monetizing a fan base since childhood like Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or you did something that had crazy shock value in your comic. I mean, we see this in comics like Watchmen, even though I know that's DC, but at the time it was still seen as a separate entity from the DC universe as we know it. Things like Invincible did this in 2003 with the killing of the Guardians of the Globe in the first issue. That was one of the most surprising things to ever really fucking happen in really comic book history. And The Boys that showed a way more sadistic, messed up side to like the comic book universe. And obviously, there was a market for it because it spanned a comic book, 2 fucking spin-off shows, and a mainline show which is still growing strong today. That being said, The Boys comic is really not that good from a story perspective, and it's actually way different from the show. A better dynamic showcasing all the characters together, and even a scene where people are wrestling an elongated penis. And while The Boys comic does have all of these things, it just doesn't really click. It's very rudimentary, not that fleshed out, and that's fine. That's what the comic was trying to do. It wasn't supposed to have in-depth character writing and analysis of all these characters. It was strictly to say, hey, look, evil Superman commits mass rape. Hey, evil Superman commits mass genocide. And for what it set out to do, I think the comic book succeeded in that. But Billy Butcher is very different in the TV show than the comic. Himiko is very different in the show than the comic. Frenchie, very different from the comic than the show. So on and so forth. I know it's very disingenuous to compare media forms like a TV show and a comic book, It's a different medium, so different audiences must be catered to. That being said, the characterization, the storyboarding, the story writing is just overall better in the TV show than it is the comic book, because the TV show is meant to be digested. You're supposed to sit and think upon the actions of the characters, while the comic book, it's more fast-paced. It's, hey, this just happened. Oh my god, did he just, essay somebody? Holy shit, what just happened? It's you're quickening the movements. While the TV show is way more digestible, the comic book is really more shock value. So while I don't think the comic book is bad, it definitely does do things differently. And if you're that type of person that enjoys overall storytelling, you like seeing a character go from A to B, then The Boys TV show is for you, while the comic book might not be. And that's all this video is really set out to do. I don't think either one is better than the other in terms of an actual story to sit down and enjoy. But there is some writing differences and writing disparities that I do think should be mentioned. With that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, or I will burn down your house and tickle your feet in your sleep. See ya.